the Madden games absolutely give some players throwaway stats. Like, they will give running backs players arm strength stats just to make the real-life people feel better about themselves.
So, like, they might be a 64 overall, but they've got 89 arm strength, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, it's like a meme. Like, the Madden people, the Madden ratings adjusters, as they're called, will go to NFL practices and, like, scout all the players for kicking power, like, even the ones that aren't kickers, just for, like, free publicity. And then they can be like, oh, if you look, Tyrann Mathieu has 68 kick power because he made a 40-yard field goal in front of us. Like, it's more of a meme than, like, an actual... Because you would never kick with those players.
Yeah.
Or, like, they played quarterback once in high school, so we'll give them an arm strength of 65.
Well, they probably played quarterback. What you quickly realize is high school athletes are just not on the level of professional athletes.
No.
Like, pretty much the entire Wisconsin offensive line, I bet you played quarterback.
Dude, I was talking to someone today, and we were talking about Tyler Biadasz. And he played fucking quarterback in high school. This man is 6'3", 316 pounds.
Yeah, but when he was in high school, he was 6'2", 250, and probably faster than almost everyone on the field. So
I'm sure.
It was it was
that's
a no doubt
fucking
situation.
Huge guy.
Yeah, but that's what happens. Like, especially in more rural high schools, like, pretty much the best athlete is going to be playing quarterback, running back, linebacker, or like D end or something. They're on the field every single play.
Just because they're the best athlete.
Yeah, there was one guy that I played against in high school. His name was James Noctigal. He ended up going to play at Army, and I think he was like an all-conference player his senior year. He was actually like pretty good at Army, but he played for Madison Edgewood, and he played for. All right, this isn't interesting. He played for a random high school, and he played wide receiver, quarterback, running back, and safety, and he ended up going to Army at linebacker. Like, he played every position on the field because he was a better athlete than all of us.
I found him on the Army football website.
Well, he's a monster. Like, you see him
it's a big
now, and you're
guy.
like, yeah, that makes sense. He's a linebacker. But in high school, he was also faster than everyone on the field. So it's like, yeah, I mean, he literally played everything. I remember one play, he caught a screen pass all the way on the right sideline, like just about to go out of bounds. He ran 10 yards backwards in the wrong direction in a giant loop all the way up to the left sideline, and then just ran straight down the left sideline for a touchdown. Like, no one could catch him. He just ran, like, the thing that you don't want your punt returner to do. He did that on an offensive play and scored. Like, he was obnoxious. It was unbelievable.
This
is against the rules. You can't do that.
You can't just be better than us. That's cheating.
My only high school sports claim to fame is that in high school basketball, I'm not even going to say what school they were from because that would be giving away the information, but it was very obvious that these two...
I know what you're talking about because I ran track against them.
These two guys who were adopted from a third world country.
They were adopted from Kenya.
Very obviously older than everyone else competing in the sport.
But they didn't have birth certificates.
So they were just a couple years older and then better than everyone else. Not to say they didn't put the work in. But it was very much like, oh, these are two adults competing against children, and they fucking wrecked us. I
remember lining up for the 400-meter dash and like we ran against these guys every single year because it was in the same conference. I was an 8th grader. You know, I was probably like 5'8", like 120 pounds soaking wet. Lined up in the 400-meter dash against a man, just an adult, a 20-year-old fucking man. who was like 6'2" and shredded. I'm like, guys, look, it's not right. This can't happen.
And granted, most of the time I was riding the bench, high school basketball, I was facing up against those same guys as point guard in basketball, and they were just fucking wailing on me the entire time.
Yeah. If you guys want to laugh, watch Derrick Henry's high school highlights.
I have. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not funny.
He's pretty much as big as he is now in high school. And yeah, it's as close as you can get in real life to when those mascots run over those kids in those weird football games. It's as close as you can get to that in like a real game. Like he just is better.
Someone brought up Derrick Henry's high school, like senior year high school stats. And
Yeah,
it was
they're
like every
obnoxious.
game was like 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. It was insane.
Yeah, for an average of like 15 yards per carry, like
Yeah.
just you basically wouldn't be stopped. If you watch his, I think his senior year highlights are the ones I watched. They're 12 minutes long, and every single one except for the very last run is a touchdown. Like he has 12 minutes of touchdown runs alone. Like it is insanity.
Derrick Henry ran for 12,124 yards and scored 154 touchdowns, averaged 8.7 yards per carry in his high school career. He carried the ball 1,397 times. Fuck me.
It's hilarious, man. And then there's the picture of Mark Ingram standing next to him in the national championship coin flip.
Small guy.
Yeah, Mark Ingram's not small, but like they play the same position and they both won the Heisman Trophy. And like they're standing next to each other. Mark Ingram's in like a Letterman's jacket and Derrick Henry's suited up, and it's just like holy shit. Like
It looks like he brought his son to work.
yeah, exactly. Mark Ingram's even like looking up at him a little bit, like.
He's like, you gotta... Come on, guys. You didn't have to put me next to him.
Yeah, you assholes. Why'd you do this? Yeah.
All right. Hello, viewers, and welcome to the Voluntary Viewing episode. What are we? 82? 83?
82.
82?
It's on the document.
Welcome to the Voluntary Viewing episode 82, 2020 Drunk Cast.
What?
It's not the podcast.
No, well, we said 2 weeks ago this would be the Drunk Cast.
We didn't put any logistics in this, Lucas.
I can't tell if you're being real right now.
We committed to this 2 weeks ago. I made introduction plans, and I'm not.
He's like,
No,
guys,
fuck
I
it,
bought
we're doing
a whole
it.
handle
We're
on
doing
the way
this.
home.
Yeah,
What do you want me to do with it now?
I thought we were good when we do drunk casts. We gotta do them on like weekends, man. I gotta go to work tomorrow.
Today on the Drunkcast, we have the man who has drunken so many Coronas that he is practically immune to viral and bacterial infections, Andrew Clark.
I buy a lot of limes for my Coronas to ensure that I'll never get scurvy.
Also, on the Drunkcast tonight, we have the master of the drunken fist, Ryan Holtz.
Hey, so am I supposed to like act drunk or
I don't know.
or just act normal and that's the joke? I don't know.
I'm fully functioning.
Yes, I'm an alcoholic and I function perfectly under the influence of alcohol.
In fact, I can't function without it.
Oh, Jesus.
Just to stop shaking, I have to
No.
drink.
Jesus Christ.
And then rounding out the podcast tonight, we have me, the only one committed to this bit, Lucas DeRuyter.
The only one that maybe doesn't have to go to work in the morning? I don't know what your schedule is.
kind of make my own hours, but also, like, gotta get stuff in by a deadline. But then in this immediate circumstance, like, the stuff I have to get in by the deadline is reviewing a lot of not safe for work material, so I don't even fucking
He has
know
to get
anymore.
drunk just to get through it.
Yeah.
Kinda?
I feel like at least in college, you definitely did some writing under the influence, and then you could edit it later
Yep.
while
Yep.
sober.
I actually
I
got
can confirm I was his roommate.
I actually got a compliment my senior year, like, hey, the professor says that this is one of the best term papers he has ever read. And my response was, oh, cool. I don't remember writing most of this, but I'm glad he liked it a lot.
So
You could read it too.
I was down at a hipster coffee shop, and I heard a bunch of Democrats talking about how great they thought Trump was. Not that I'm saying that didn't happen, Lucas. That's what it reminded me of.
Let me tell you.
But I also remember you writing several scripts for some projects we were working on in college, and you would like hand them to me to review, and I remember just begging you, absolutely begging you to for once write one sober.
Andrew, don't you dare say to me that The Adventures of Broof is not one of your collegiate highlights. Come on. Come on.
It was a lot of fun, but it shouldn't have existed.
There's something worthwhile in there.
Oh, Lucas. I agree. Like, I had a lot of fun working on it, but that was a really sad way to phrase it. There was something in there, right?
We didn't.
Come on.
We didn't waste all that time, right?
Please tell me, Andrew. Tell me it was all worth it.
Yeah, taking like your last gasp of air. Just it was worth it though, Andrew, right? And he looks thoughtfully off into the distance, and a single syllable.
Rosebud.
No. Oh.
We had some fun, though.
I killed Jamie fucking Lannister.
Sophomore year, we peaked.
Won the conference championship.
I would have gone pro if I hadn't blown out my knee.
If Coach would just put me in, I know we could have won state.
I'm still the captain of the team.
What's happened? What's? I don't think this is about us anymore.
No, it hasn't been about us in a while.
Oh, okay. I couldn't tell when it stopped.
I was never a team captain, and I am very okay with admitting that.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, team captains aren't necessarily the best player.
No.
Mm-mm.
I think they're a very specific type of person most of the time.
They have the most clout.
That was a weird incongruency of like two of my lives. One where I'm like an online meme lord, and one where I'm like a high school varsity athlete. And I did not expect those to intersect at that exact moment in time, and I think it broke me a little bit. I think it slightly cracked my psyche there. Similar to like when I figured out you and Jade were in Rock Springs at one time, and it was just like two worlds I didn't expect to intersect at that exact moment, and it fucked with me a little.
Ryan, if you're saying right now that like you didn't expect to talk to people who like fundamentally understand what it's like to be online, but also a kid in the rural Midwest, I don't know how to break this to you, but like we are exactly those people.
I just mean like clout was not a thing when I was when I was a boy, when things were right and people knew their place. Like, I don't know.
Oh,
Clout. The concept of clout, I feel like, has arisen at least in like the last couple of years.
Yep.
I mean,
And
like,
I've only ever used that
has always
term.
been a thing. It's just people didn't really, not like the way that it is now.
Clout was discovered in the year 2018 by Sir Lord Andrew / the Fourth. I mean, yeah, it was obviously like the concept of clout lived, but no one called it clout. And so it was just, I've only ever used it sarcastically in a meme way online, usually referring to like YouTube drama.
Ryan, are you an internet troll?
Yeah, all the clout chasers out there and everything. I feel like the clout drama.
Hey, if you're clouting along
peaked.
with us, smash that like button.
Smash that mother clouting like button.
Turn on
So.
notifications for extra clout.
Jesus fucking Christ. Wait, so like if they have all the clout and this guy's got like none of the clout, he's hogging clout. He's got a clout monopoly. But that means that maybe he's preventing clout inflation.
We've got all this clout inequality. Bernie
If there's
Sanders
an abundance
is gonna
of clout,
redistribute the clout.
clout demand is going to go down, and the value of clout is going to shrink.
Working
We
men
got to
of the
avoid
world
that
unite.
clout inflation.
Seize the clout. Carpe clout.
Oh Jesus!
Okay. We have to go into the news of the week segment now because there's no extrapolating the intro anymore.
Yeah, we could drag it out longer. We
What
could
if-
tie it to the Iowa caucuses.
Oh,
if we were on a single clout system, it would be much more efficient than these private clout companies
Fuck.
at insane markup.
What if we had a cloud system that actually represented the popular vote in America?
The electoral clout is a farce. Like, we shouldn't be giving the rural areas of the United States so much clout.
Everyone knows that
Future-
the clout system is based on a racist view of the YouTube population from hundreds of years ago.
Future me, remember this. News of the week right now.
The founding clouders did not want this sort of system.
The founding clouders. or is it the clouding fathers?
The clouding fathers.
There you go, Lucas. That's your title right there.
The clouding father.
The clouding fathers. Yo, Ben. Benji, when you gonna hit me up, man? We're down at the Supreme store. Come through, bro.
The Supreme Store.
Yeah, man, it's Georgie W. Fuck, man. Get your ass over here.
It's like the Coca-Cola commercial with Scorsese and Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know, man.
Cinema, Andrew. That's what that was. Cinema.
Not a Marvel movie.
What's gamer rights? What's in gamer rights news?
In a huge blow to gamer rights, a federal court has ruled that being muted in a video game does not constitute as a violation of a person's free speech.
How the fuck did this get to a court? What?
Lucas, just for putting this on here, you've lost clout.
Wow.
Jesus. That was too early for the callback, Andrew.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Wasted it.
Hey,
I
Lucas,
was
cut that.
I
Save
was
it for
scouting
later.
ahead. I was scouting ahead for which topic would be most ripe for the callback that would have brought the house down.
No, see,
And alas.
the best way to utilize a callback is to just beat it into the ground as often
Yeah.
as possible.
Do it immediately, early and often, as they say.
Yeah, Daniel Tosh taught me that.
No, this isn't a violation of freedom of speech.
No.
How did this make it to a court? How
If
did
you
a judge?
don't listen to me, you are violating my rights.
Well, let me tell you, the American legal system is fundamentally compromised and favorable towards a certain demographic, and that's how issues like this make it to a federal level.
But, like, this is such a fundamental misunderstanding of freedom of speech, which I have seen non-stop for the last 3 years. And I'm going to go ahead and say the last 3 years, almost to the day, private entities cannot restrict your freedom of speech. The second or the First Amendment is for the fucking government restricting your freedom of speech. Like, it's basic shit, man.
You're not allowed to be an asshole on some company-provided forum.
You are literally allowed to be an asshole, but they are allowed to then do whatever the fuck they want about it.
Yep.
Like, you're allowed to be an asshole, and you can't get arrested for it.
By the government.
By the government. But, like, you can get kicked out of a goddamn restaurant.
Yeah. You could go on Twitter, say some shit. They could change what you said to say the exact opposite of what you actually said, and then, like, promote it and make everyone think that you said the opposite of what you said. That's not illegal. That's not a crime. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They're a private company, man.
But it's just, like, forgetting the, like, the private entity versus the government kind of stuff. The idea that someone is like, you're violating my rights for muting me, i.e. not listening to me, is hilarious. It's like, you violated my Second Amendment rights by wearing a bulletproof vest so that I could not kill you with my gun.
Honestly, though, that's not far off.
I know.
That is not a terrible analogy.
I am allowed to troll anywhere as an American citizen.
But once again, you are. You're just not free from the consequences that come from that. Like, that's the whole point. Like, you are free. That's what the freedom of speech is meant to be. But then, guess what? You might have to pay consequences for it.
Your Honor, they unfollowed me, therefore removing the clout that I had rightfully earned.
Come on. Jesus
Christ.
And
a seizure of property of value, i.e. my clout.
On an unfortunately real note, I just want to say that I fucking love you guys for getting this. For getting the point we're making right now. Because I grew up with a lot of people who did not.
I didn't, honestly. I feel like I did not run into this sort of thing until really recently. And then it was just like everywhere I looked was people misunderstanding what freedom of speech meant.
I think the earliest memory I have of this is like when the Duck Dynasty guy got canceled for a little bit because he went in an interview and basically just said like gay people are bad and gross. And then like the network's like, you're not allowed in the show anymore. And they're like, oh, they're violating his freedom of speech. And it's like, no, they're not.
They're literally not.
You can't just say whatever the fuck you want and go wherever you want and like be famous for it. You don't have the right to be famous.
Andrew, I'm pretty sure that's like the 17th Amendment. Like that's somewhere in there, right?
Yeah.
If it's not, it's going to be the 28th. I'll tell you that much.
Guns, no slavery, right to vote, clout.
Yeah. Clout.
We have a new trailer for the Final Fantasy VII remake that confirms both Red 13 and the exceptional cross-dressing scene.
I feel like this game has been coming out forever. I feel like Final Fantasy VII Remake has gone the way of the Cyberpunk 2077.
Yep.
Like, I mean, has it only, I mean, like, I have no concept of time anymore. Has it only been, like, a year? Because it feels like it's been at least 10 years.
That is exactly correct. It has been about a year, and I mean, come on, Andrew. Final Fantasy VII is basically Cyberpunk 2077 for people without PhDs. Like, come on. Come on. That is a very...
It was the reverse. Lucas is referencing a video by Tim Rogers on Kotaku where he does
that man.
A pre-review of Cyberpunk 2077. Where he's been hitting really hard lately, the pre-reviews. Those are very funny videos, and he's been really getting into it. Where he, pretends to have, like, reviewed a game that has not come out yet. And at one point he says Cyberpunk 2077 is Final Fantasy VII for people with PhDs.
I don't get that reference. I laughed because it had the structure of a joke.
Somewhat cyberpunk. So, but yeah.
Sure. Okay.
It's not supposed to make sense. It's just supposed to be funny.
Okay.
I am on board for it, and I love how the most recent trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake basically featured all of the things that are fetishes in the 21st century.
Yeah, is that
and
what
outlined
makes a game good?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Like, the original 1997 Final Fantasy might have had more of a cultural impact than we gave it credit for, because it made a lot of people horny, is what I'm saying right now, in the year of our Lord, 2020.
Sure.
Okay. I hear people typing, so we are moving on to TV. Netflix announced a 10-episode live-action One Piece series, which is odd for a number of reasons. Andrew, what do you got to say about this one?
So I never considered myself a fan of One Piece, or really... I mean, there's only been a handful of anime that I've actually liked. But, so I liked Cowboy Bebop. And when they said Netflix was going to do, a live-action version, I was like, okay, that's a little weird considering, how, over-the-top visually Cowboy Bebop is. But, I think you could make it work. One Piece is something completely different in the way that, if you make that live-action and kind of keep it what it is, if you try to actually do One Piece, I feel like it would be such weird, creepy, uncanny valley that it would basically just be a 10-part series of body horror. I mean, seriously, I think I would feel nauseated seeing this in real life.
So, for those of you who don't know, One Piece is
it's about a stretchy pirate.
Yes, it is about a stretchy pirate, but it is also the most successful comic book ever in Japan, and I think globally. That is just... It leans into fantasy stronger than maybe any other franchise, to the point where... I think we are at the point where the majority of One Piece main characters are taller than 10 feet tall than characters that aren't. And I don't know how you make this a live-action series. Honestly. The main character, he is made out of rubber. He can stretch his arms. That would look terrible in live action. The secondary main character fights by holding a sword in his mouth, and that can't happen in live action. I don't know how you do any of this.
Neither do I.
CG, baby. You remember Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four? He was a stretchy boy.
That's not nightmare fuel.
I didn't say it won't cause nightmares. I just said it can be done.
Well, we know they can do it, but it's not going to be good. Much like the Fantastic Four.
Ooh. Not even
Okay.
Fanforstic?
It's been that burn was years in the making.
Yeah. That's the ultimate callback.
Fuck you, Miles Teller.
Fantastic Four references. Yeah.
Oh God, Miles Teller was Reed Richards at one point. That is not okay. Fuck.
Yeah, man. He lost a lot of clout.
Whew. Okay, so I don't know if this next point is within either of your bubbles, but Funimation stopped licensing the series Interspecies Reviewers after realizing that it was basically hentai, and that series, in case either of you didn't know, is basically about having sex with a bunch of fantasy species prostitutes.
Yeah. How the fuck did they not know?
What in the goddamn fuck?
Well, no. So like, hold on. This is hentai,
Yep.
right? Like, is that? I don't know enough to say that it's not. Like, oh, there's subtle differences, but like, yeah, that's what the series is about.
Yep.
What was Funimation thinking?
Granted, like I one, like the article that you linked doesn't have any images, and I do not care to Google it. I have no idea how graphic it is, but like,
No, it's full on.
Really?
As somebody who's unfortunately my job is to stay up to date with this stuff. In episode 4, there was a character who is a succubus. She pressed her genitalia against a glass wall, and then a literal waterfall happened.
Why?
This is hentai.
Yeah, no, it's
Who fucking made this shit?
okay. Well, who made it? It exists, Andrew. That shit
No,
is out
no,
there.
I made it, but like, this isn't just like something that like an independent artist made and put on Pornhub or whatever. Like this,
Yeah,
some sort of
that's-
production company made this, and then it was put on the big anime site.
Oh, Andrew,
So-
my sweet summer child. Like, you
Unfortunate-
do realize that pornography usually is large media companies creating it
I know.
of all kinds. I'm more like this would be like if Netflix picked up a porn series.
Yep.
And like it was just airing, and
No,
then they were like,
that's
"Oh
what
shit,
I'm
that was
talking
porn."
about. Is that like
yeah,
somebody showing this? Somebody
Yeah.
put their name on this.
no, like a respect or quote unquote respectable streaming service
Yeah,
had it up for a while and didn't realize, oh, this is straight up porn.
So, unfortunately, how most of animation works is that when the people who are licensing it, they maybe have an idea of what the first episode, the final cut of the first episode is going to be, and then the source material, and then they license it off of that, and then everything else is happening in production. And for this
So
series,
someone showed them a pilot, and then it just fell off the rails afterwards.
yes,
It sounds like the manga though was the exact same way that it was based on.
the manga is arguably dialed back compared to the anime. In this case.
I don't know that you can make a show like this and argue that it can be dialed back. Like, can you imagine this in live action? Like,
That is
God,
also fair. That is
guys-
also a fair
I
point.
can't
Yeah,
wait for
two guys
Netflix
travel
to
the
pick up
world.
a 10-part episode of
Yeah.
Interspecies Reviewer.
This is also an inherently horny sexual series. And if Funimation might be wrong for thinking that they weren't going to take this to its logical conclusion.
Oh, dumb.
Yep. Do we have anything happening in film or other?
I have an other, and I was kind of just wondering if you maybe knew more about this, Lucas, because I definitely did not really understand what was happening, but I saw Death Note trending today on Twitter, so I clicked on it, and it seemed like they had made some sort of one-off issue of Death Note that involved, like, the demon guy selling the Death Note book to Trump for, like, $2 trillion, and some weird shit happening. I don't know, because, I mean, it was just, like, some random screenshots people had posted. I do not know what it's about, but...
Yes, that it... if you could present that description more confidently, yes, that is what happened in that spin-off chapter. Yeah, that happened. And, like, I read it. I don't know if it was good, but it happened, and it's kind of a social commentary, so...
No, it's not. You can't just say, like, someone can't just, like, say a thing and then say that's a social commentary. Like, I could say Donald Trump is a terrible president. Oh, there's a message behind that.
I mean... within the chapter, there's a segment where Donald Trump says that America is going to buy the Death Note, but we're not going to use it for the sake of world peace. And say, that's kind of a social commentary.
Oh,
I don't
nuclear weapons.
Ryan, do you have any perspective even of what a Death Note is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I know all about the series.
Okay, cool. I'm glad that has permeated the culture. Okay.
Yeah, I think I listened to a Funhouse podcast about it or something. It's made it through to me in cultural osmosis.
It's a fun idea.
Sure. Why not?
No, you know what a really fun idea is? Interspecies reviewers.
Jeez. Thought you were gonna say clout. But your callbacks have to be recent. It has to be the most recent thing we've talked about. We've discovered this.
I have a very short attention span.
And short memory.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has taken us into the Drunk Cast. Meme Corner.
The memes.
Memes.
What do we think about Baby Nut?
So unfortunate.
Yeah.
Just an unfortunate title. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
No one.
Wait, is it Baby Nut or Baby Peanut?
It is Baby Nut.
It's Baby Nut.
Come on.
Yeah, no, it's Baby Nut. They're trying to capitalize on Baby Yoda, probably.
Oh,
and...
yeah. Yep.
Oh, cringe. But it's not even a baby. It was like speaking full sentences.
Yeah, no, it is just him, but smaller.
Yeah.
He even says, "Guys, I'm back. Where's my monocle?"
Yeah, I'm back. Where's my monocle? In like a man's... It's fucked up. It's weird.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
So, what... And I'm sorry, I realize this is my media-destroyed brain talking right now, but, like, are there only certain dolphin, like, noise clips available in the public domain? Because Baby Peanut was absolutely saying profanities from the SpongeBob episode in that advertisement.
There was a split second where I thought that it was going to be, like, a SpongeBob tie-in.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely like any time a cartoon or something like has a dolphin sound, it's always the same bite.
What the fuck?
Yup.
Wow, really says a lot about society.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And we do live in a society.
Yep. Did y'all see?
Andrew,
Oh,
Andrew, take it away with the next one.
this was me.
Oh, Ryan, take it away.
I didn't mark it red. So, as many of you know, Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl last night. Whoa,
Yeah.
crazy! And like
Good
a lot
for
of people. Oh.
Good for Patrick Mahomes, a person who is my age, and since his victory, I have not questioned every life decision I've ever made as a fellow 24-year-old.
There you go. Well, like many Americans, our president wanted to congratulate the team. So he said, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs and the whole state of Kansas. Which,
There's only a small problem.
as many people might know, Kansas City is on the border of Missouri and Kansas, and the majority of the, I don't want to say cool shit, but
No. The city of Kansas City is in Missouri.
is almost entirely in Missouri, like the city part.
Kansas City, Kansas is just...
Yeah. And then the team obviously is located in Missouri. So there's been a lot of memes about that. It was immediately deleted and replaced with the corrected tweet, but plenty of memes. And I saw some that were pretty funny, including like a return of the Hurricane Sharpie meme, drawing Kansas City's borders with a Sharpie and saying, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
That was good.
So it was a good old time. Gotta love the memes.
Here's the thing, though, is that there is a non-zero chance that he had a conversation at some point about, like, just having Kansas absorb the rest of Kansas City on the borders, because it doesn't make any sense to have Kansas City in Missouri. I hate it, everything.
Vote Democrat 2020. The limited number of people who listen to that.
Affiliated, even though everyone knows already. Lucas, we can't endorse candidates, otherwise we won't get sponsorships.
Let me tell you, Andrew, I am right now looking into picking up a Lisa mattress. And while that company is disrupting the mattress conformity
Which
in America right now.
Which mattress company?
Lisa mattresses.
So Lisa mattress, not Casper mattress, not
Casper mattress. Casper
mattress
is shit.
Is it purple mattress?
I'm talking about Lisa mattress.
No, Lucas, don't hate on any brands. We might need their sponsorships.
I'm talking about Lisa mattress, which has only delivered quality mattresses at an affordable price. And is terrific. If you are a person in their 20s and are constantly hounded by the existential stress of their value being correlated to, I don't know, like a yearly income dollar sign, let me tell you, Lisa Mattress can put you to sleep no problem. Sleep on one of those. Lisa Mattress. Terrific. Buy one. End of advertisement. I can't keep this going. I'm sorry. I'm trying to fill time until Ryan gets back. I don't know.
I'm snapping some more so you know. Really, really know where to cut it.
Nothing we have done so far merits cutting. It is not. It is. No, I'm not going to say it. It is not like from the material last week that merited cutting. Although I do have to say, you and Ryan did a fantastic cold open. That was terrific. Thank you both.
Oh, you're welcome. I accept this award on Ryan's behalf.
So, like, he's not gonna like it anyway, so should we go right into the breakouts play music?
No, I want Ryan to hear me talk about Death Stranding. Otherwise, it's not even worth it.
It's not worth it unless he suffers.
Let's talk about The Witcher 3.
Okay.
So
We're blending stuff, but fuck it, it doesn't matter. This is also the breakouts, a group chat, whatever. Okay.
So I finished playing Death Stranding, and I'm going to talk about that in a bit once Ryan comes back and I can annoy him with it. But I subsequently started playing The Witcher 3 on Switch, otherwise known as the best way to play The Witcher 3, one of the greatest games of all time, apparently. And I gotta say two things. One, I can really see why people love this game. Like, it's a lot of fun. It's got a really good story. The lore is interesting. Like, it's great. And the second thing I gotta say is it runs like total dog shit on the Switch. It is.
Yep.
It is bad. It's so bad. Like, just shit won't render. There's a ton of glitches. The controls are like really weird. Like, they kind of teeter on the edge of like way too sensitive and not responsive enough. The graphics are awful. Oh my God, it's so bad. I mean, like, I remember watching a couple reviews of it before I decided if I was going to buy it or not. And every single person said, whatever you do, don't play it in docked mode. Play it in handheld mode. It's the only way to play it. It'll, like, basically the idea there was that it would minimize the, like, visual issues that, like, maybe, like, you wouldn't be able to notice it as much. That, like, if it's on the big screen, it would be too glaring. That's not true. It definitely looks way better on the big screen than it does in the small screen. It looks like ass on the handheld screen. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm having fun with this game, but Jesus Christ, it's 2020.
Yep.
This is a 5-year-old video game, Nintendo. 5 years old. And I get that The Witcher 3 is a big game, but, like, it is hard to play. Like difficult, yes. Like, it's an intentionally difficult game. Not like Dark Souls, which I've never played, but, like, it's hard. I die a lot. But, like, it is hard to get through. It just does not control well. It doesn't look good. It doesn't sound good. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. I don't know if this is in the original version or not, but, like, the load times are super long. The load times are astronomically long. And, like, in a game where you die a lot and it loads you back to your most recent save and you have to wait, like, 3 or 4 minutes after each death to play the game again, it's not okay. But also, like, each chapter of the game kind of introduces a new section of, like, in the loading screen, it'll look like kind of a hand-drawn illustration of, like, one of the scenes in the chapter with, like, the bard kind of, like, walking you through the story so far. So, like, it'll, like, basically, like, talk about, what's happened in the most recent chapter and, like, what Geralt's trying to do next, which only updates once you finish the chapter, or at least get to the end of the chapter. And so every time you die, this dude comes on, he's like, Geralt was to find Ciri, and it brought him to this town, and then this guy was dead. Like, it just keeps going, but, like, the audio sounds like shit. The audio, like, echoes and it sounds super distorted, and you hear it every fucking time you die. It sounds like a dude recorded it in his living room on a podcast with his friends.
I mean, I think we're getting into the territory of this isn't the fault of a port. This is the fault of a video game that came out pretty early in the current gen cycle and just the standard wasn't that high yet.
No, I understand that. And I get it's the Nintendo Switch, and so we're supposed to kind of like give it a pass. But like it looks bad, man.
I mean,
and it plays bad. And like it is a lot of fun. And it sucks because I keep wanting to play it, and I've been playing a lot of it the past couple of days. It looks bad. And like it's not so bad that like I won't play it because I'm having a lot of fun. It's a fun game. It's super interesting. But like oh god, it's 2020, man.
But like if you were in a slightly different life circumstance where you were playing the Switch for like half an hour every day on the train, would The Witcher for the Switch look okay by that standard?
Well, yeah, no, sure. It's a mobile device. Like it's a mobile gaming device, and it's pretty good for that. Like I give them props. Like they got a lot of hardware and a lot of cool shit in this little tiny machine that I can take a lot of places and have fun. And I'm going to be going on a business trip in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to have a bunch of long layovers and long flights, and I'm going to have a lot of fun playing The Witcher 3 on my Switch during that time. But it's not going to look like a video game that was released in the last week of 2019.
Resident PC loyalist Ryan Holtz. Tear him apart right now. Go for it.
Oh, ports, Andrew? You don't even understand. Yeah, no, PC has struggled with ports for a very long time. And I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if some of the problems are definitely still caused by, porting a software from one version of hardware to another, as well as obviously being an old game.
So we are just breaking down the structure of the podcast at this point. But I feel like that's very much in the spirit of a drunk cast. Do we want to talk about the Netflix Witcher adaptation right now?
We already talked about it a little bit before. I know that you started watching it, so...
I did.
Yeah, I haven't watched any more other than the 2 or 3, whatever, that I watched.
Ryan, I also watched the first 3 episodes of The Witcher.
I see where this is going.
And...
Coward.
After watching that, I have zero investment in the characters and cannot carry on.
I really don't care.
Like, Geralt sold his horse, like his best friend, to sleep with a prostitute, which was like...
He didn't sell his horse. He
had sex with the prostitute
as
collateral.
And then found out he didn't have enough money, and then he had to give his horse up for collateral and go make money and come back. I get it though. I get it. I'm not gonna say that like the show. I'm not gonna say it gets good. I know that we can't do that in 2020. But like when I watched the show, I definitely didn't feel like it was a bad show that got good. Like I definitely felt like the first couple episodes were not as good, and the second half of the season was much better. But like, and I was confused like in the first like couple episodes, and then I got clarification as the show went on. But like I really liked the show, and I did not like the first 2 or so episodes as much as the rest of the season, but I liked the show. And I actually really liked episode 3, so I don't know how that didn't hook you. So,
I mean...
It just seems like we have different tastes.
You know what?
I won't accept it.
Episode 3, Geralt trying to be the Geralt. Oh my god, we are already
Henry Cavill did not
there.
put on that much makeup and a wig for you to call him Geralt.
Geralt trying to save the princess. Like, that's good. But also, Yennefer being a cliche is like...
Yennefer is very cliche the first couple episodes.
I
did not give a shit about her until later in the season. I will admit that.
I don't have the time for it. And then also the princess whose name I forget in the moment,
Ciri.
like being hypnotized to go into the forest, and then her elf friend trying to talk her out of it. Like, that was supposed to be the hook. That was supposed to be the thing that kept me, like, watching into episode 4 to figure out what's going on here. And I just don't care because she's not that interesting. And yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it wasn't that good. That's fine. There can be shows that aren't that good. I'm not going to watch them, but they should be able to exist, and people should be able to like them.
It's okay. It's okay that you guys don't like them. I do, and I think it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 2 of The Witcher with, like, the goat man, like, that was really cool. The show looks expensive. I like the Bard, but the Bard is out of the series now, so... Oh, he comes back?
He's out of the series for, like, 1 episode.
Well, that's just a writing mistake they made, because, like, if he had been in episode 3, maybe I would have kept watching.
What if I told you he was in episode 4 a lot?
Too late! I already wrote it off.
You don't have to do that. You can decide to come back to a show. And I'm not even gonna convince you. Like, I'm done trying to convince you that it's good. It's okay. We can have different opinions. That's fine. It's
okay.
Fine.
Sure. If it makes it onto the top 10 TV shows of 2020, I'm gonna be upset. That's all I can say.
Why?
People should be allowed to enjoy it, but it's not good.
So that's fine. It is good. It's just different. No. It's just not your cup of tea. And that's fine. You got a review of what's good, but that's okay.
Oh, sure. Yep.
I
have the narrowest view.
Yeah, Ryan. Maybe if you consumed more media.
Oh yeah. If I didn't have such a small sample to draw from, I would probably know better.
You gotta dream a bit bigger, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan. Up your series intake to 60 TV shows a year, not 45. That's way too few.
I know it's hard to convey in a podcast, but at this moment, I am doing, like, full elbow rotation jacking off moment right now.
What?
Elbow rotation?
Yeah, what?
To convey, like, this is how much TV I watch, both as a slight to Ryan and Andrew. I don't know.
Sure. Hey, Westworld's coming out soon, Andrew.
I know. I'm excited.
March. Yeah.
You say garbage?
No, March.
Oh, I thought you said it's garbage.
No, it's not garbage. It's not that good, but it's not garbage.
It's good.
Season 2.
Season 2 wasn't
how much
of
Samurai World do you think we're gonna see?
I don't know.
I don't know if I'm gonna watch.
God
I think I'm officially on the wait and see bandwagon for Westworld.
What if
are they gonna?
What if I told you, Ryan, that it?
What if I told you
it gets good?
You mean I've seen every single episode, so
no,
be hard to
season 3.
No. If the general consensus is that season 3 is a return to form,
no. I mean,
yeah,
season 3 has already aired. It's just with the timeline of the show, you probably just didn't understand it.
I see. Yes,
season 3 already
the
happened.
The old you didn't understand it. That's why you don't like it.
Are they
that old trick?
It's okay.
Are they
go to
gonna
school a few more years, then you'll get it.
Maybe get the masters in film studies.
Yeah, as if a bachelor's degree wasn't a big enough waste.
Oh,
hey-o! College is for making connections, not for learning shit.
I had a good time in college. I learned a lot. It didn't help me.
Exactly.
I mean,
I learned so much useless shit.
I mean, Ryan, I think you can agree with this. Like, I wouldn't be where I am right now if not for the connections I made by happenstance. So
I didn't make
Well,
connections.
Yeah, mine wasn't by happenstance. Mine was very deliberate from the minute I stepped on campus.
Mine was engineered. It has been ordained.
I mean, I was on a one-track mind from the minute I decided, oh, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Was like, all right, well, this is pretty straightforward then.
What's that like?
It was great. It's probably why I'm where I am, honestly. Like, you just don't doubt yourself, and if you enjoy things, keep moving forward, and next thing you know, things might work out. I was like, guess what? I probably need an internship, like a starter internship my sophomore year, and then maybe I can get a bigger internship my junior year, and then maybe I can have a capstone internship after my senior year, which turned out not to be necessary because I got pretty lucky.
Skipped the final step in the plan.
Yeah, well, I skipped a few goddamn steps. I skipped like at least 7 or 8 steps at this point in my career.
right there with you, buddy.
So sometimes it falls into place. Don't know what to tell you.
Yep. Turns out half of it is just good luck, like making the right connections, making like good impression on the right people, and the other half is like putting the work in. But I'm sorry if you are in a position in life where you just never had the chance to make the right impression on the right people. That genuinely sucks and is a failing of our society.
Well, I'm not going to throw myself a little Andrew pity party. I made a lot of money last year.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, boy.
But just...
That's never a sentence you can say and sound charismatic.
No, I'm not trying to be charismatic. I peaked,
We're just
Ryan.
on a podcast.
I'm not going anywhere from here.
We're on a podcast designed to entertain people. Let me just casually flex on everyone quick.
I do just remember, like, my freshman year of college, like, you know, I'd already taken a couple of classes. I kind of thought I knew what I wanted to do, but then I took some classes. I go, that's definitely not what I want to do. And I went to a career advisor, and they're like, okay, well, like, what do you like about these classes and that classes, whatever. I'm like, I really like learning about this kind of stuff. I really like thinking about, you know, these things in the future of blah, 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 blah. Where do I go from here? What do I do? And they're like, okay, here's the steps that you got to do to get to that point. Or like, here are some of your options. If you start out on this point, here's where you can branch off to. I'm like, okay, like a lot of those options sound great. I'm like, okay, you got to study these things, you know, whatever. Get to know these people, get internships and jobs in these fields, you know, get these, you know, skills by, you know, doing these classes and taking these courses and doing these other jobs. And you'll end up in one of these 10 places. I'm like, cool. And I get to my senior year. I'm like, go to my career advisor, a different one this time. Okay, so I want to get into one of these several places. What do I do from where I am? Like, oh, who the fuck told you could do that with what you're doing?
Jesus.
That person was a moron. You can't do anything with what you've done.
I mean, you're 24 years old.
No. I know. It's not like I am not in a dead end.
You're doomed.
Dead end. Dead end, yep, Andrew.
This is the next 50 years of your life, motherfucker.
Get
Buckle
used
in.
to it. No, but it was just, I remember that meeting and just the color draining out of my face. And they're like, oh, who the fuck told you could do that with this? No one in their right mind's going to hire somebody with these degrees. Like, oh.
I mean, if we want to bring up freshman year stories,
I don't.
Let me introduce you, ladies and gentlemen, to Fire Hazard Ryan Holt.
Jesus Christ. How do you remember that?
Okay, are we
I
really
barely
going to call
remember that.
Ryan the guy with posters fire hazard when I made everyone leave the
Yeah,
building?
Andrew actually was a fire hazard.
I got a concussion and then tried to make mac and cheese. And
Was that because of your concussion? I never made that connection.
I mean, it was. I mean, I didn't really remember it until later.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know this part of the story. That makes it kind of scary.
I remember hitting my head really hard on my bunk bed, like my lofted bed. Because I was getting the mac and cheese out of the shelf, which was underneath my lofted bed, and I hit my head really hard and collapsed. And then I got up. I'm like, okay, I was doing something. Oh yeah, mac and cheese. Threw it into the microwave with no water. And then the next thing I remember, the alarms are going off, and I'm outside, and the building is filled with green smoke.
See, I just remember that story as you laughing. You were having a good time with it. You were like, I forgot to put water.
It was my birthday.
No.
Oh, he was just concussed. Yeah, no, I had posters on my ceiling, and I lived the entire first semester of college in other people's rooms because I couldn't have my door open because the RA would come around and yell at me and tell me to take him down, and I just wouldn't because what are they gonna do?
God, what was the name of our RA who just obviously smoked a lot of pot?
Lit the fuck up every day.
John.
Fucking John.
Yeah.
And then the one time where the whole floor just reeked of marijuana and everyone was walking around, and then we see John come out of his room and he's like, whoa, what is that? Trying to play it off. And he was old too. Hadn't he been out? He didn't start college right away, so he was 25 in a dorm full of 18 and 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
And
He's high out of his mind.
Yeah, he's just stoned out of his gourd, stumbling around, what? Yeah, that smell. Where's it coming from?
So, I remember, full disclosure, I'm a degenerate. I got caught drinking freshman year.
Jesus.
God. Do we want to?
No, I don't want to go through the story of.
I was gonna say it ruined your whole life.
Okay.
Yeah.
As I recall, I remember a lot of late night conversations surrounding you being like, well, my whole life's ruined.
I did not say my whole life is ruined. I said that I couldn't do shit my freshman year because they were keeping an eye on me. Whatever.
It was a very 19-year-old conversation.
I was 19. But a couple days later, our RA John called me into his room. He's like, hey Andrew, knocked on my door. Hey, you got a minute to talk? I just want to check in on you and see how you're doing. I'm like, oh God. And John's a nice guy, so it's not like I hated talking to him or anything, but he walked me into his room, and there's just there's a mountain bike in the corner, and he sits down in a giant beanbag chair directly opposite of another giant beanbag chair. And he's like, please take a seat. I sat down in this goddamn beanbag chair, and he pulls out this big bowl of oatmeal granola balls. He was like, granola ball? I'm like, what? He's like,
granola ball.
He's like, yeah, this has granola and pretzels and dark chocolate and oatmeal and a lot of good stuff that gives you a lot of good energy and gets you through the day. It really makes you feel better. I'm like, okay. I ate it. I'm like, oh, this is pretty good.
Oh my God.
And he's like, I just wanted to check in on you and make sure you're all right. I don't want to be the judgy guy, and he's like, I just want to make sure that whatever you're doing, you're being responsible and safe and, keeping, track and taking care of yourself. Okay, Andrew? I'm like, okay, John. Hey, can I have more granola balls?
Oh my God.
You know what? I'm sticking with the judgment I made when I was 19. Fuck one particular John. Fuck one particular Matt. Hannah, you were okay.
No.
You were fine in the grand scheme of things.
Lucas.
But fuck John and Matt.
Oh, man. It's really harsh.
Oh boy. We had some legitimate train wrecks on our floor too,
Oh,
which makes
man.
Andrew's story that
Yeah.
much better. Like we had legitimate people just going out every night and like losing their mind and not knowing
Like, absolutely
where they were.
in danger. Like,
Yeah, like in actual danger every single weekend and sometimes on the weekdays.
we had
And,
problems on the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we had one guy do crack one weekend, but he learned his lesson, so...
No, he
No,
didn't.
he didn't.
No.
He just did other stuff.
Yeah. We had girls that were like clearly staying over like in random other people's apartments every night. Like they weren't living in the dorm anymore. There was actual problems going on. And then meanwhile Andrew gets drunk once and he's like targeted
Yeah,
as
I
this
got put on a
potentially
fucking list. I had to
potentially
go to a
problematic
class.
kid.
Guys, I had to pay and go to a class and tell everyone why what I did was wrong.
Are we finally at a point where we can admit that you went to 2 AA meetings?
I did. I did.
You can't do that. That's illegal. Those are confidential.
No, because it wasn't like legitimate AA. It wasn't called Alcoholics Anonymous, but it was the same thing. It was just run through the university.
Jesus Christ.
They sat me down in like a judge. It was like the campus arbiter or whatever, and they're like, I have to make an example out of you. And they're like, your dorm used to be a respectable establishment. And
I
now
remember hearing about
like,
that.
Now look
we
at
ruined
it.
it.
We can't just let
We
people
ruined
think
it.
they can keep getting away with this. I'm like, but I just did one thing wrong. And they're like, we have to make an example out of you.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, God, UW Madison, get your shit
They're like,
together.
one more time and you are out of here. I'm like, how out of here? And they're like, out of here.
You're gonna go to Schlichter or wherever the drunk kids go.
Have fun in Whitewater.
Oh no. Yeah, that's pretty fucking funny. Come to think
No,
of it.
it's
Andrew, I don't know what you were like in high school. If you were a big partier or
No.
anything.
No.
My first,
Okay,
my
so-
first beer
Well,
was
okay,
after
you
high
know
school
what?
graduation.
Andrew was Diesel in high school for a while.
So what I'm gonna say is, I think that story, the reason why you originally got caught, is the number one reason why high school drinking should be like not as
No,
discouraged as it is.
it should be mandatory.
Not mandatory, but like, I don't know. I got to college and like, Mom, I know you're listening, but like, by that point I knew how to handle myself. Like, oh yeah, you have 4 or 5 drinks and you have a fun time with a bunch of friends. You don't just drink until you pass out. Like, and I swear to God, most of the people in our dorm did not know that lesson
No,
yet.
they didn't. It was the freshman.
It caused so
only
many
dorm.
problems. And it's just like, you guys realize that you don't have a good time when you do that. Like, that's not what the objective is.
My only saving grace, my only positive feature there is that I learned my lesson after the first one. Like I
Yeah, but
learned
then you-
quick. Like
You had to basically throw your freshman year in like the stove
Yeah,
and like,
no, I
burn all
did-
the fun stuff.
I did not have any. I had very little fun after that point.
Jesus Christ.
Andrew, are we in a place right now where we can talk about the guy whose mom picked him up after a night of summer drinking?
What?
Like, can we talk about that yet?
Wait, is this post high school in college?
I think this was senior year, like summer senior year of high school.
Who are we talking about? Me? I don't. What?
No,
Okay.
We're talking about one of our boys who we
Oh.
went out to the cabin
Oh,
and
yeah.
then
Yeah, you know, he's probably not listening. Don't name any names.
so
Make up names. They're more fun.
Alfred.
Alfred.
No, wait. That actually kind of sounds like a guy we know.
Fuck yeah.
Lenny. Let's go with Lenny.
Lenny. So there was one summer of our senior year of high school.
After
This
our senior year
summer
of high
we
school.
went. Yes. Summer senior year of high school, we went to my aunt's cabin, and Andrew, because of his job, ended up with I think it was like a 24 pack
Of
of
Bud Light, yeah.
of
There was
Bud
probably
Light that he
only probably I think about 20 of the cans that I found. I found them in the
that
trash.
that you found in a literal dumpster.
Yep.
Like an
Jesus.
unopened 24 pack.
No, it was opened. It is the thing.
Oh,
So, for context, I was working on a grounds crew for the local golf course, and once a week we had to go collect all of the trash from around the golf course and throw it in the dumpster, behind the clubhouse, basically. And we had to sort through all of the trash and get all of the aluminum cans out so that we could recycle them. And then I think they sold it. It's not like we didn't get any of the money, but like they sold it. And one hot summer day, 18-year-old Andrew found in a bag, like one garbage bag that had been taken out of a garbage can, 20 unopened cans of Bud Light. Not in a box, not in a case. The case was nowhere to be found. Someone dumped a bunch of full cans of Bud Light in the trash. And so we're sorting through. I'm like, holy shit, this is a bunch of Bud Light. What do we do with it? And they're like,
so then
I'll probably just throw it away. I'm like, I'm not going to throw it away.
So then we decided, we have to go to my aunt's cabin and drink all of this. And we did, but then in the course of that, one of our buddies, Lenny, admitted to his mom that, yep, I'm 18 and I'm drinking with my friends right now.
Beforehand, he felt so nervous about the whole thing that he told his mom beforehand. I swung by his house to pick him up, and he came out and he said, I told my mom that we're going to be drinking. Because I said, Mom, I respect you, and I want you to know we're going to go have some beer, and we're going to be responsible and have a good time, and it's going to be okay. And she said, thank you. I appreciate you telling me that. That shows a lot of maturity. And then they talked on the phone like halfway through the night. He had seriously one beer and went
a single Bud
Bud
Light.
Light. And he's like, I don't like Bud Light. He had never had Bud Light before. I was like, I don't like this. I'm not gonna have any more. And his mom.
We were all 18 at the time, to be clear.
Yeah. And then he talked to his mom on the phone, and she asked him, "Have you had anything to drink yet?" And he said, "Yeah, I had one beer, and I'm done for the night." And she came by and picked him up because he was grounded.
And
because it was a test.
And somehow that cost him his job at the Oshkosh YMCA.
Because she then called his job and said, this underage man has been drinking. He's not responsible enough to hold a job. And they're like, okay, we have to fire you now.
Oh my
And
God.
she told him it was a test. That when he told her that they were going to be drinking, or that we were going to be drinking, that she was waiting to see if he actually did it, to see if he was a good enough kid. And when he said that he had beer, that proved that he wasn't, so she picked him up.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, and then they go to college and they become the problem children. Just throwing that one out there.
I had a great freshman year of college. I had to get an iPhone 5C because the phone I had before
the
then
of iPhones.
broke my first week of college because I was making out with somebody.
Okay.
They used
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of tongue.
Weird flex, but okay.
Drunkcast 2020.
Yeah, wait, yeah, this was supposed to be a drunk cast.
This is the Drunkcast, Orion.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, we're telling war stories. Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah. Have you guys been, just to date this podcast, you guys been keeping up with the Iowa caucus? Because, something's going down. Things are
What?
weird.
I
What's
Googled it a little
happening,
bit
Ryan?
earlier and there was no results.
there have been literally no results whatsoever. They were supposed to start reporting the different what's it called? Fuck, I don't remember. They were supposed to start reporting basically an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
And they haven't even started yet. And by this time, it was almost completely called. And now there's like all sorts of weird reports about inconsistencies.
Democratic
and how,
campaign, something has gone wrong.
Yeah, Sanders and Biden were invited to have a call with the Democratic Party of Iowa. Like, things are weird. Like, things are going on right now.
Fuck?
And it's weird to do it live. They found inconsistencies in the reporting of 3 sets of results. So they're apparently going to try to go with a paper trail to figure it out.
Jesus
and like
Christ.
it sounds like a clusterfuck. And this might decide the next president, or at least the next nominee.
Which is an unfortunate reality of our current system, and is why the Electoral College needs to be abolished. But also, as a whole, and I realize I say this as a progressive who spent the entirety of my childhood living in the second most conservative county in Wisconsin. Hey, progressives, hey, Democrats, spend more of your time being critical of Republicans than you do being critical of Democrats. It's a lot. The political climate is genuinely frustrating to me on a lot of levels, and
well, you're the only one, Lucas. Okay,
I don't know.
How you doing there, buddy? It's at that time of the night.
A little bit.
It's the end of the drunk cast. Lucas is coming down.
I don't know. I realize most of this podcast is presented with a thin veneer of irony, but if I can be genuine for a moment, come on.
Just in case. Just in case.
Snap. If you are someone who would rather not vote than vote for any Democrat, I genuinely do not know what to say to you. Like, if you cannot understand the fundamental benefits of a progressive mindset, what are you doing in 2020? Is just what I want to say right now. And if I have to edit this out of the podcast later, or if Andrew has to edit this out of the podcast or the YouTube cut, then fine, but come on. It's obvious at this point, I think.
Well, Lucas, you swayed me.
Oh yeah, that communication arts degree is finally paying off.
So looking at the live updates on this, I saw like a mini headline that like scared the shit out of me for a second. It says Amy Klobuchar is making a speech even though we don't have results yet. And I thought that she was going to attempt to claim victory and that we were going to have some sort of fucking power struggle. And it says like, no, it's even funnier. Basically it's her saying like, I know that we don't have results yet and there's going to be a bunch of delays, but I wanted to say thank you. Like, I don't want another minute to go by without thanking all of you. We know there's a bunch of delays, but we know one thing: we're punching above our weight.
Oh, Klobuchar's doing better than they thought they would.
Or no, that's just her saying like, hey, nobody thought we'd get here, but look at us, we're doing okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yo, for anyone who isn't aware, the Iowa caucuses are
not nearly as important as people always make them out to be, but go ahead.
true, but they're also fucking ridiculous in that the Iowa caucuses are literally people standing in a gymnasium, like in a corner that represents a candidate, and the majority of counties that have the most people standing in the corner of a specific candidate end up winning the state. And
it's absurd. It's completely ridiculous.
I mean, that's not just the Iowa caucus, though. That's every caucus.
Yes, also true. Also true is yes, every state who is on a caucus system is that. And we are a developed nation in 2020 and should be past that, but here we fucking are.
I kind of like it, if for nothing else, just because it involves some sort of tiered voting system, which I've been clamoring for like 5 years now. That we need to be able to list alternatives to our vote. Otherwise, we're just going to vote for the less bad option. Whereas if we could actually rank every single candidate, we could get our voices heard properly. But yeah.
Also fair.
So at least there's some element of that, which in a certain way actually does make it more progressive than our current first past the post system. So.
Okay.
Alas. Who are our Patreon supporters? Where can they find us?
Hold on, Ryan. We're not quite there yet. Before we get there,
I think we're there.
we have to talk about in the year of our Lord 2020. We have to talk about Death Stranding.
No, we don't. The podcast is going too long.
I'm gonna stop my recording.
Andrew,
we're doing it next round.
Continuing.
We're doing it next round. The podcast is gone.
No,
I'm not even joking. I think the two of you are gonna finish this.
No,
Andrew.
Lucas, we're not.
Listeners.
Okay, fine.
Okay, never mind.
Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 82 of the Voluntary Viewing Podcast. If you would like to support us, please remember to check us out on Patreon. www.patreon.com/voluntary viewing. Any amount that you can contribute would be appreciated. You are joining the likes of Sucky Badger and Sexual Richard Nixon, and you will be terrific for contributing any sum of money. We very much appreciate it. Otherwise, if you would like to help support us, you can leave a like on this episode, a rating, a review, or follow us on Twitter at V2_podcast. If you would like to contribute to the content of this podcast, you can send us an email at voluntaryviewing@gmail.com. or just message us on whatever system you're listening to, and we will respond to you in the next episode. And then, I create content online. My name is Lucas DeRuyter. You can follow me on Twitter at Lucas DeRuyter. I would very much appreciate that. But, we are pretty much done with episode 82 of the podcast. What were we naming this again?
The Clouting Fathers.
The Clouting, Clouting Fathers. Okay. That sounds good.
We'll just get the paperwork done at the end of the podcast.
I'm sorry if I came in prepared for the drunk cast. And this isn't what it was supposed to be.
I'm not mad, Lucas. I'm just disappointed. And with that, I end my recording.
No! When is the actual drunk cast happening, Andrew?
I don't know. Not next week. I'm gone.
No!
Yeah, baby.
No!
Sometime in the future, we'll figure it out on another podcast. So you better stay tuned.